Are you happy? How long has it been since you let go of anxiety about the future and truly felt the joy of the present moment? Do you always pin your happiness on a distant tomorrow, only to let the beauty in front of you slip away quietly? We are always full of anticipation for the happiness of the future, always thinking that joy can only be obtained when we save enough money, achieve our goals, or move on to the next stage of life. Yet in the anxiety of each passing day, we forget how to feel the beauty of the moment. And it is precisely for this reason that the acronym YOLO has become a spiritual outlet for countless people to break free from this predicament. Popularized by Drake's 2012 single, The Motto, this phrase encapsulates the essence of "you only live once" and has also become a sustenance for many to cast aside overthinking about tomorrow and embrace the joy of the present. Some take an impromptu trip because of it. Some bravely rush into a moment of companionship. And some break free from worldly expectations to make career choices. This pursuit of present joy is a gentle rebellion against the anxious life people live. But few people bother to delve into the fact that this longing to live in the moment that resonates with us is never a trendy idea, let alone a product of modern social media. Its ideological roots can be traced all the way back to 4th century BCE ancient Greece. The philosophy of hedonism, founded by Aristippus of Cyrene, a disciple of Socrates. Drake merely gave this ancient wisdom of life a vivid expression in the modern age, and Aristippus of Cyrene was the first ideological pioneer to regard the pursuit of present joy as the core of life. The entire philosophical system of Aristippus of Cyrene is built on an unshakable core belief. The ultimate purpose of all human actions boils down to two things in the final analysis: seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. In his view, the only things truly worth pursuing in life are those that bring genuine, immediate joy to oneself. He believed that the value of all beautiful things in the world lies in their ability to arouse this kind of pleasure. This stands in stark contrast to the mainstream success narrative instilled in us by contemporary Western society, a set of principles centered on delayed gratification and endless preparation. Endure hardship in the present for the sake of rewards in the future. Fresh out of college, we are urged to land a stable 9-to-5 job, pinch pennies, save relentlessly, and toil away for decades, all so we can retire comfortably at the age of 65 or 70, a distant reward at the end of a long and arduous journey. Aristippus of Cyrene would undoubtedly reject this path outright. He scoffed at delayed gratification and did not believe in sacrificing the present for an unpromised future. His philosophy advocates that people seek joy in the things within arm's reach, right here and now. And he rejects all ideas that demand people endure the pain of the present for the possible happiness of the future. For a college student, this does not mean burying one's head in books for a good job in the future, but making lifelong friends, toasting with loved ones, and savoring the freedom of youth to the fullest. These are all the beauties that can be possessed in the present. Of course, this ideology has no shortage of critics, and for good reason. On the one hand, it is easy for people to regard Aristippus of Cyrene as short-sighted, even utterly foolish. If all one's time, money, and energy are squandered on immediate pleasure, all resources will soon be exhausted, and the fleeting joy will eventually be replaced by profound pain. We have all seen the consequences. Some people indulge in pleasure-seeking and develop bad habits, eventually losing everything. Some give in to laziness and fall into poverty, all because they live only for the present. On the other hand, however, this ancient ideology contains a quiet wisdom that cannot be ignored, because no one can guarantee that tomorrow will surely come. What is the point of toiling away at a soul-crushing job for 50 years, ignoring all the small beauties of the present, only to pass away just before retirement? What if all the sacrifices are for a future that never arrives? Even if you are lucky enough to live to retirement, the cold, hard reality paints a sobering picture. 1 in 4 people will experience a disability by the age of 60, and this ratio rises sharply with age. Knowing all this, is it really a foolish thought to say that we should cherish the happiness we have in the present? Socrates and his contemporary philosophers clearly thought so. Many of them despised hedonism, regarding it as a shallow worldview. It reduces human existence to nothing but blind pleasure-seeking and pain avoidance. This widespread skepticism, combined with the rise of Christianity in ancient Greece, completely snuffed out the radical ideas of Aristippus of Cyrene, consigning them to obscurity for centuries. It was not until the emergence of Epicurus that hedonism was reborn, redefined, softened, and endowed with new connotations, all starting with a reinterpretation of its core word, pleasure. In the eyes of Aristippus of Cyrene, pleasure is an intense, ecstatic burst of the moment. The satisfaction of taking a bite of your favorite food, the comfort of sipping the first cup of coffee on a cold winter morning, the excitement of savoring a moment of joy. This is still the definition of pleasure for most of us today, but Epicurus's understanding is completely different. In his view, true pleasure is not a fleeting joy, but a state of calm and unshakable tranquility. He opposed endless indulgence in sensory pleasures, arguing that the purest happiness stems from breaking free from 2 tormenting fears, the fear of death and the fear of the gods. He believed that only by letting go of these anxieties can we truly savor all the beauties that life has to offer. Aristippus of Cyrene merely urged people to seek pleasure, but Epicurus went a step further. He argued that seeking pleasure and avoiding pain is not a choice, but human nature, an instinct rooted in every one of us. To prove this point, he turned his gaze to the purest observers in the world, infants. Infants do not understand the rules of society or the complexities of life, yet they can instinctively distinguish between comfort and discomfort. They coo and laugh at pleasant sensations and cry and fuss at painful experiences, all stemming from a primal desire to end pain and return to peace. This view naturally raises a question for many. If we are born destined to pursue pleasure, how do we explain acts of selflessness? What about the choices made for the sake of virtue and the well-being of others, without a single thought for personal gain or loss? The answer from hedonists is surprisingly simple. These acts bring a different kind of pleasure, a sense of heroism, a sense of mission, a moral fulfillment, and the brain interprets this fulfillment as joy. In essence, this pursuit never changes. It is just not the sensory pleasure we usually understand. The hedonism defined by Epicurus divides pleasure into 2 distinct types: dynamic pleasure and static pleasure. Dynamic pleasure is the process of satisfying desires, eating when hungry, drinking when thirsty, resting when tired. It is the joy of the pursuit, the joy of filling an emptiness. Static pleasure, on the other hand, is the state after a desire is satisfied, a calm and contentment born from the fulfillment of a wish. Adrenaline fades away, the heart returns to peace, and only a faint, sweet sense of happiness remains. This tranquility lasts until it is broken by pain or a new desire. In the view of Epicurus, there is no middle ground between pleasure and pain. The absence of pain is pleasure, and vice versa. Even though Epicurus interpreted hedonism in this more moderate and profound way, this philosophy is still highly controversial and even reviled by many, and for only one reason. It claims that pleasure is the only intrinsic source of value in life. If this is true, where do we place all the things we hold dear? The search for the meaning of life, the achievement of extraordinary feats, the building of lifelong friendships, becoming a legend in a certain field, devoting oneself to religion, and upholding moral principles. Hedonism would argue that these things have no value in themselves. Their meaning lies only in the pleasure they bring us. But this contradicts reality. For example, devoting oneself to religion does not always bring joy. It often restricts the types of pleasure we can pursue. Even so, it brings a deep sense of fulfillment to millions of people, a fulfillment far more precious than the pleasure they give up. If the only goal of human life is self-satisfaction, those who benefit from social injustice will never rise up to resist. No one will stand up for the public good if it requires personal sacrifice. But we see such acts every day. Some people set aside their own desires to help strangers. Some speak out against injustice and are disowned by their families. Some fight for causes that have nothing to do with them at all. If we all only pursued our own pleasure blindly, these things would never happen. We would only be content with this unjust world that benefits us and never bother to change the status quo for others. When defending their beliefs, hedonists face another profound challenge: the value of reality itself. If pleasure is the ultimate goal, does it matter whether that pleasure is real or illusory? If we are born destined to pursue joy, why would anyone refuse an endless supply of pleasure, no matter where it comes from? The philosopher Robert Nozick answered this question with a famous thought experiment. He gave people two choices: spend the rest of their lives hooked up to an experience machine that simulates endless, perfect joy, or continue to live an ordinary life, experiencing all the pain, sorrow, and fleeting happiness. Without exception, everyone chose reality. Because in the final analysis, a fake life, even if perfectly happy, is empty and meaningless. We would rather choose real pain than indulge in illusory pleasure, no matter how we define reality. As we all know, the most precious memories in life are often intertwined with joy and sorrow, happiness and heartache. Abraham Lincoln returned to his childhood home 20 years after leaving it, only to find it in ruins. Through tears, he said, "My childhood home, I see you again. The sight fills me with grief, but when memories well up in my heart, joy comes with them too." This bittersweet beauty, pleasure intertwined with pain, is something that hedonism can never explain. Think about the moment of high school graduation. The anticipation for college, independent life, and new adventures is so intense that it stirs the heart. But it is also mixed with sorrow. Missing your best friends, yearning for the purity of childhood, and grieving the end of a life stage. You will miss your parents, siblings, and the hometown and community that raised you. Yet even with a heart full of sadness, there is still joy. For those precious memories, for the journey that is about to begin. This complex, intertwined emotion is precisely what makes life meaningful. Hedonism is widely criticized in modern society because it opens the door to a dangerous trap. Pleasure is an insatiable desire. You eat when you are hungry, and a few hours later, you feel hungry again. You chase a thrill, and soon you need a more intense experience to feel the same level of joy. It is an endless cycle, and when this cycle becomes the entire meaning of life, we easily lose control. Most addictions start this way. A moment of pleasure, followed by an increasingly intense craving, until the original intention of the act is no longer to enjoy pleasure, but to satisfy an uncontrollable obsession. This is a trap that countless people fall into, worn down by life as they chase the next bit of joy, wasting years of their lives. But none of this means that we cannot draw strength from the core idea of living in the moment. Because deep down, we all understand a truth. Tomorrow is not destined to come. The next meal, the next workday, the next moment of peaceful beauty. None of these are guaranteed absolutely. Betting all your happiness on a distant future is a risky gamble. It is far better to hold fast to the present and embrace the small, simple beauties that fill your daily life. These moments of happiness are ordinary, accidental, and real. They support us as we move forward and are the cornerstone of a wonderful life. If you are crammed on a late-night bus after a long workday, do not let frustration waste this moment. Look at the streetlights flashing by outside the window, listen to your favorite songs, and let this moment be a trace of peace in the hustle and bustle. If you are exhausted after a hard day's work and crave a warm bowl of pasta or a cold soda, walk to your favorite corner shop and order one. After all, you have traveled far, toiled away, and strived to live. You deserve this comfort. You don't have to wait until you save a fortune, until your children grow up, or until retirement to dare to stop and catch your breath. Take the vacation you've been saving up and don't burn yourself out for a little extra overtime pay. Spend an extra 30 minutes on the phone with your family back home, asking about their daily lives and troubles. It's far more important than spending an extra hour staring at a meaningless spreadsheet. Missing an unnecessary deadline or skipping a tiring night shift won't ruin your life or end your career. It will just make you live more like a regular person. Perhaps carpe diem or YOLO is not the ultimate answer to life. Perhaps the endless pursuit of pleasure is ultimately a road with no turning back. But catching the small beauties of the present and being kind to the tired yet still striving version of yourself, this is a pursuit that will never be in vain. In those ordinary, uncelebrated moments that make life truly worth living, this choice will always bring you the best rewards.